When I told my mom I hated my stepdad, she cried. I, 28F, have never been fond of my stepfather, 60-something. They tied the knot when I was 18. He's the sort of privileged chap who sneers at waiters and reckons refugees should buck up if they aim to get ahead. A proper snobbish bloke. From the get-go, he never bothered to get acquainted with me. Still, now and then, he'd attempt to rib me like my siblings do. But that's because we're tight-knit. He's never even asked how my day was. Since I'm close to my mother, I mostly stay polite. But sometimes, I can't help giving him an eye roll right to his face. I despise him. I live overseas, and happen to be home for the holidays this year. Chatting with my mother, she casually dropped that she and my stepfather were eager to be grandparents. I inquired if he had kids I wasn't aware of. She looked puzzled and said, "No, your future baby." I gaped at her for a moment and asked if she was serious. She went on, "It's not that he's buying to replace your dad as grandpa, but it'd be nice to give him that title, especially after all he's done for us." Marrying a single mom of 4 wasn't a walk in the park. I flipped. I told her if she wants to do that, fine, but she ought to give him a top hubby badge instead, as he's never been fatherly or even friendly to me. I confided that I'd been in counseling because of him. I couldn't fathom why he'd banter when he was a stranger. Mentioning it to my mother only drove us apart. Therapy taught me it was their job to build a connection, yet they didn't lift a finger. Sure, relationships need two to tango, but I was the young one. I told her I can't stand those without a heart for refugees and the needy, and he's done zip to better my opinion. There's no way he'll be my future child's grandparent. I blew my top as it's been over a decade of her pushing me to see him as a parent when I've got a great dad, and it's been tough watching my bond with my mother fade. She wept, my stepfather's steering clear of me, and it's awkward. But all my siblings back me up, with one suggesting I should have just kept mum, to keep the calm. For instance, when I'd be at the dinner table doing a Wordle, he'd saunter by and blurt out, "Why play Wordle? Thought it was for brainy types only?" Then he'd chuckle and stroll off. If it were my brother, I might giggle, but we're not chums.